the house, the one they talking about, word of mouth. The boxing playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
What's up, everybody? This is Sakura A Emelio Santana, and this is Boxing Playhouse, baby. Tonight, we got a legend with us, a Florida Boxing Hall of Fame inductee. 2023, here he comes, baby. And he is a legendary trainer and cornerman for some of the best that ever were in the ring. I can't wait to introduce him. How about you?
Can't wait.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go ahead and welcome Aaron Snowell with us tonight. Yay! We lost him just as soon as we got him. Well, he'll be back on. He disappeared. He got too excited. That's what it was. Oh. He was excited. But, okay, so while we're waiting on him to return to us, we can go ahead and start these hot topics.
Let's do it.
So the real news from last weekend's fights, baby. Oh, Fundora, he got the business. Mendoza got 3 good punches in on him, and he wasn't able to recover. Could he have gotten back up? Would he have made a recovery? Do you think that he's chinny? Is Mendoza all that? Tell me, what are your thoughts on this fight and how it ended?
You want my thoughts?
Yes, that's what I'm talking to. I ain't talking to myself.
Oh man, you know what? Pandora's so tall, and he doesn't really use his height and reach. You know, his attributes that he has. I think if he could have stayed out and kept Mendoza off him, you know, at a good distance, he probably wouldn't have got caught with what he got caught with. You know, Mendoza's a good fighter. You know, we already done seen him. You know what he did with Banana. You know, he pulled that upset on Banana, so we already knew he was a formidable opponent. You know, he's already showed he's got power, and Fundora, you know, we finally seen what kind of chin. A lot of people saying that he's chinny or whatever. I just think he got hit with a punch that he didn't see.
Oh, this is Aaron calling.
Aaron calling in.
Oh man, I can't even answer it right now. I mean, we're live. So basically, I mean, my thing is, listen, Fundora got the business. I mean, he got caught with a left hook he did not see.
Right.
And once he was hurt and Mendoza saw he saw blood, it was like it was, I mean, technically he saw blood. Like he didn't really see blood. When he saw those sharks infested waters, you know, he went in on it. Yeah. And, you know, some people are arguing, well, they're saying like Fundora doesn't have a chin because he's been hurt before. But damn it, that was the hammer. That was Lubin. He's known for power.
Definitely.
In both hands. Mendoza has, you know, like half knockouts on his record.
Right.
Now it's at 13. But he really wasn't knocked out. So
he went out cold, but I think he was lost and didn't really know where he was. You know, he rose up and he just looked disoriented, you know, to the referee. I don't know what the ref asked him. I'm sure it wasn't, you know, he wasn't corresponding well. So the ref called it. And he fell pretty hard too. The back of his head, you know, he's a tall guy, and the back of his head hit the back of the mat. And you can see it bounce, you know, on certain replays. So I think it was a good stoppage, man. He's a young man. He can bounce back, come back, you know. I would just like to see him use his reach and height more, you know, keep guys off of him, you know.
Well, he does have that advantage with all his opponents. His reach and his height is an advantage. But I tend to think that a lot of these boxers that have that, you know, those advantages, they don't really take them, you know, to heart.
And we was talking right before the knockout, we was talking like Paul Williams was another example, a guy that kind of didn't really use his height and his reach as much. He loved to fight inside. Another tall guy, Diego Corrales, was tall, but he actually had short arms. You know, his height was kind of deceiving because his arms was a lot shorter than guys that were shorter than him. But Fundora and Paul Williams, 2 tall guys that has the reach. They need to utilize that reach and I think it would make the fights a lot easier, and he might not get caught like he did.
Yeah, for sure. It's a situation where he did get caught. Now, if I see him laid out again,
right?
Like give the guy some credit. Mendoza. Yeah. Nobody wants to give Mendoza credit for what he was able to do. He fooled the guy. He started out with right hooks the entire night. Had Fundora look on the hunt for this right hook, and out of nowhere, he's like, gotcha with the left. So he got caught with something he didn't see. I think that's what happened in this particular instance.
Fandora was pawing with the right hand. He kind of got a little lax. Paul with the a lazy type of right hand, which Herrera came around, countered that lazy right hand and landed that hook.
Right.
As soon as he saw Fandora buckle, he like dived right in and finished the job. So it's a hard lesson to be learned by Fandora. Hopefully him and his team can tighten up, a few things and bounce back. He's a young dude, so I'm sure he'll bounce back.
Well, I see we got our second guest. It's already arrived, Jesus.
Shout out to Danny Santiago.
Yeah, shout out to Danny Santiago. That was a devastating punch. And he says, someone that tall should use his best attributes, which is height and reach. Mendoza has a better center of gravity behind his punches. Very true. A lot of people were chiming in saying about, the weak legs or the non-muscular legs and how, it's almost like looking like he's on stilts. So, maybe he needs some strength and conditioning. Danny is available. Our other Hall of Famer from, I think his year is 2021, maybe. I have to make sure. Danny. Yeah, Danny, which year are you? Which class are you in for the Florida Hall of Fame?
Ago, huh? Was it a couple years ago?
Yeah, well, 2 years.
Yeah, 2021.
Yes. Okay, I think we got Aaron back. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get him back on. And he says, yes, it was 2021. That's absolutely right. We got nothing but Florida Boxing Hall of Famers in the house tonight. I'm so excited. Yeah, Danny Santiago, our host of Latin America, comes on every Wednesdays. And it's, it's like Spanglish, it's a little Spanish, it's a little English. So it's something that you can enjoy if you want to catch up on all of your Latin boxers and what's going on in the Latin American scene. Now, let's go ahead and get Aaron back on here. Aaron Snowell, what's up?
All right, how y'all doing?
Hey, we good.
Awesome.
We chilling, Aaron.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We also have Jesus Escalera of TNK Boxing Promotions. He's here with us tonight to help celebrate his induction as promoter category Hall of Famer.
And happy belated birthday.
And happy birthday to Tito.
He's still fresh off his birthday.
How you guys doing tonight?
I don't know what's going on with Aaron's Wi-Fi. He's in like a music studio or some type of studio, but it's causing him issues. So I'm glad you were ready to go.
Yes. That's pleasure for you guys having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, and we have the champ. You guys, we got multi-champion, multi-titles in the heavyweight division in Jesus Escalera. Loads of questions for you, honey. But we're going to get to that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and get Aaron back in here.
All right.
Aaron.
There you go.
Back.
Aaron.
Yeah, something keeps kicking me out. But, hey, look, I done took a butt whooping before, but we always bounce back.
Stay with us, Aaron. Stay with us.
Yes. We have your fellow 2023 Florida Boxing Hall of Famer with us tonight, Jesus Escalera, aka he's also a Tito. Some people like to call him Jesus, though. They don't want to go with that Tito business.
Yeah,
that's a very popular Puerto Rican name, Tito.
Yeah, it is.
Aaron going.
We better go ahead and ask Aaron his questions before he has any more technical situations. Hopefully he can hear me right now.
Aaron done went into another dimension.
As soon as you said that, he dropped off. Welcome to Boxing Playhouse, baby. It's live and it's definitely impromptu. All right. So, Tito, how you feel being a Florida Boxing Hall of Fame inductee in the promoter category?
It didn't hit me yet, to be honest with you. It's probably because I don't have enough time to enjoy my accomplishments because I'm so busy working to the next one and the next show and everything else. But I think once we get there to the building and we finish up a Friday night and we show them why I think it was well deserved for me to get it. Then I think Saturday going into Sunday, I think that's when it'll finally start kicking in.
So for people that don't travel international, such as yourself, I mean, they may have a hard time wrapping their head around how many actual shows you have put on just in this year alone so far. So can you know how many exactly it is?
I mean, right now we're actually booked. I'm literally online right now setting up our event for May 27th in Medellin. But that's a really good question. I mean, I lost track because it seems like I'm constantly working.
Spitting off the numbers, but now you've lost track. And
I lost track because between me training now and then still promoting, it's like I don't have enough hours in the day.
I understand that. You really don't. You really don't. I don't know how you do it. But for me, it's such a wonderful thing to see someone in the industry that we actually support and love so well be able to get to this level, and it's more like a happy, what do you call it? Like a happy, just a family vibe. Like when a family member gets, they just do, because a lot of people don't realize like how much work there is behind the scenes with these promotional shows.
I agree. Yeah, we're actually at 14 when Medellin hits on May 27th, and then by the Hall of Fame show, it'll be 15 shows this year so far by June 30th.
Right. That's like amazing. That's for this year. I mean,
at the moment.
At the moment. Now, tell us exactly. Oh, hold on a second. I see Danny says he's talking the talk, but the dude walks the walks. Facts.
It's a pleasure, Danny. I appreciate you. I can't wait to go on your show. Hopefully in the future. We had to adapt. When 2019 hit, a lot of things changed that year. We was the only promoter at the time in Florida that did 4 shows during the pandemic, and then in 2020, once word got out that Florida was open and we was doing shows, a lot of new promoters started coming from different states. And when that started happening in 2021, it was an influence. I mean, before that time, Florida used to sanction between.
Now we done lost him.
Tito.
Now, Tito, you breaking up on us. Hold on a second till we get you back. Let's see. We'll see if he comes back to us, guys. Boy, it's a lot of technical difficulties here tonight. I mean,
is it the weather? What's happening?
I don't know, but Danny, you're absolutely right. He is walking the walk, and he's talking, but he's like actually doing what he said he was gonna do. So that's something that a lot of people can't say. Let's go ahead here. I think we got him back. Let's see. I was gonna say, Tito, are you there with us?
Yes, we are. Yep.
Okay, great. I was gonna say that over the last 5 years, first of all, people don't realize your amateur background, your sparring background with world champions, they also don't realize that before you actually started promoting under your own name, that you were generously contributing and partnering with other people in this area for their promotion, under their promotional names, for these fights to happen. Not to mention your donations and sponsorships throughout the years with different boxers. So fill us in some. What is it that the people don't know?
I think what it was is I came here in 2010 from Connecticut. So I was quite new to the Tampa Bay area, and I came here. You know, I was gracious enough to come here to help to come out to a senior when he was going to come back in this comeback with Jerry Reyes in much of time boxing down off of Nebraska. And when he went back to Puerto Rico and for a reality TV show, never came back, and he actually passed away. I ended up getting stuck here in the Tampa Bay area, so I kind of had to start scratch from new. I always loved boxing. I didn't want to fight at the time, but I wanted to support some of the kids in the gyms.
Yeah. She'll come back. He froze.
Well, what I was going to say is this Florida Boxing Hall of Fame weekend is coming up, and it's going to be fabulous. Okay, we couldn't hear you for a while. And the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame weekend is going to be, let's see, it's going to be June 30th through July 2nd. And it's going to be at the Hilton Caroline in St. Pete, Florida. Lots and loads of Florida Hall of Famers from past years, and former champions, current champions, as well as our actual fight night with prospects as well as contenders on the card. That's going to be Friday, June 30th. And of course, it's with TNK Boxing Promotions. So tell us, I know you said that you moved to Tampa and then you didn't box for a while, but you had to basically start over from Connecticut.
Yeah, basically I just started sponsoring amateur boxing events in the local area. And just started doing the shows, and then started building a relationship with the gym owners and the fighters, and just helped them, you know, when I could here and there with sparring and tips and stuff like that. But in 2011, when I lost the P&Ls and 4 Pierce with the scoring system, that's when I decided I wanted to become a referee and a judge in USA Boxing, because I figured, you know, no better way to fix it to be a solution to it. Right. And then after that, I was refereeing for almost 11 years and judging. At the same time as I was fighting, sponsoring. Some of the amateur kids end up becoming adults and started turning pro. And that's I started sponsoring them at the time. And then started sponsoring, obviously, promoters from Fight Night Promotions, from Fulalesi's Promotions, from One Punch Promotion. There was so many people that came and gone since then. David Bowser just doing the show on the 22nd. I sponsored his show several times. Joey Orduga, that's how I met him, my matchmaker. He was a promoter at the time I was sponsoring his. So I just always stood around, you know.
You know, out of all the hats you wear, what do you enjoy the most? You know, you box, man, promote, all these different things.
I'll be honest with you. I think the one that I missed the most, that I never got to accomplish, and hopefully I will before I pass away, is I just want to be a referee and a judge on a professional level. I think that's a goal that I never accomplished. I did it in the amateur level, but I never actually. It was funny story. The commissioner Tim called me a week after I registered my promotional company license for me to referee and judge in the state of Florida. And I told him I was a promoter, and he was like, well, you can't take the job then. And he's like, when you run out of money, you can come back. I got a job for you. So it's,
Oh, okay. So he says like promoters like they're not making money here in the area.
no. Yeah, they're not gonna make no money. And you know, in boxing, you have to love the sport because you're not gonna make money in the beginning. Um,
Yeah.
you're gonna put a lot more into the sport than you're ever gonna get back out of it. You're gonna lose time away from your family, your friends. You're gonna dedicate a lot of time to it, and a lot of people are not gonna appreciate the hard work that you guys do, including yourselves. I mean, you guys came a long way from when you guys first started to when you guys are started now, and I think you guys have been the most consistent social media in the Tampa Bay area. I mean, I saw people come and go, companies. They came and gone, and you guys are still standing. So you guys experienced similar situations.
Hey, we appreciate that, Tito.
Thanks, Tito. We appreciate that. But this is all about you. We got lots of other questions to ask.
Oh, feel free. I'm not holding no punches. You ask them, I'll tell you.
Tito being inducted this year, what do that mean to you? Being inducted in the Florida Hall of Fame.
I think it's an accomplishment. You know, my father was a fighter. He passed away when he was 20 years old. I never got to meet him. So I think this is more of me completing maybe what his dream would have been. And then so I think once I get the ring and I do the speech, I think that's when it becomes official.
Well, I definitely understand that. I'm sure your father is going to be very proud of the work that you do with young boxers, as well as trying to just help out the industry of boxers. There's been a lot of promotions in the past that might not have been as honest as you are. So, I mean, that's something to be proud of in itself. And you've done such a great job when it comes to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. And, you know, it's only just due that you're able to reap your rewards and get your accolades and flowers while you're living too.
No, I do appreciate what they're doing. You know, we've been partnering with them now going on 5 years, and this is going to be their 15-year anniversary. You know, we're happy that they could have chose anybody to. You got to think about it. You know, there's a lot of Hall of Famer promoters that was in this area, in the whole state of Florida, and they reached out to us, and we was flattered to take the opportunity and we roll with it.
Right.
I tell you this one, when we do those shows, and I think when I start off my speech, to be honest with you, I think I'm gonna change it up. I think if anything, I'm gonna start it off instead of thank you people, I'm gonna have to apologize to a lot of people because. Because I'll be honest with you, as being a leader and a boss, or sometimes my vision was so passionate because you know people in my color and my background, we do one thing wrong, that's what people remember.
Right.
And so I was so passionate to get everything right to prove that we can do this that sometimes I push some good people away. And because of that, I feel a little disappointed in myself. You know, we had a lot of team members that was part of our team that's not no longer, but we also had to adapt. You know, sometimes as a fighter and a coach, sometimes you see the best in people, and sometimes you want to push it out of them. Sometimes you just don't know how to do it. Each person is different, and I was a little hard headed. You know, I demanded a lot of stuff from a lot of people, and sometimes when they didn't step up to the plate, I didn't know how to properly, you know, say thank you or whatever. You know, but that part of it, you know, I reached out to those people personally and I'm amends with it. But I appreciate every one of the people that was in our beginning of our staff. But as the company grows, you have to have people that's dedicated to their craft. And because of that, that's where we're still standing, you know, 6 years later and going on 58 shows. And just to give you an example, the equivalent to do a show now is the equivalent of doing 3 or 4 shows back in the 80s and the 90s.
Really?
And I tell people, I'm glad, I'm honored that I'm getting this special award and achievement. But, you know, realistically, there's no such thing as small promoters anymore. We're basically event coordinators / babysitters. I mean,
Okay.
because as a promoter, you want to promote an event, you want to promote a fight, but the problem is nowadays everybody wants to be undefeated. Nobody wants to take a risk, and a lot of the coaches dictate who their fighters fight. So it's kind of hard for me as a promoter to promote an amazing fight and pay both fighters what they deserve if they're not willing to fight each other. I can't promote a guy that's 6-0 versus a guy that's 0-10.
Right.
I don't care how good of a promoter you are, you're not going to pull that off. So, but I can promote a guy that's 6-0 versus 6-0, you know.
Right.
And so
Yeah,
that's
now I have heard a thing or two about that. There are some promoters that in the area here and across Florida that are saying the same thing you're saying, that when it's time to step up, nobody's saying they're ready to step up. They, they want to pick and choose opponents. And, I'm hearing it from the fan side of things as well, where, fans are like, I don't want to go to a fight and pay all this money and I'm seeing somebody get, knocked out, or they don't want to get up off a simple knockdown after the first, during the first round. They want to see competitive fights. So, like I was hearing it from both sides. Then I'm hearing from some boxers and some trainers. Oh, they want to push us to do this, and oh, they setting us up to lose, and oh this, and oh that. Well, guess what? Jesus is here to show you by actually showing you like what he's doing, but like with this fighting angle you have. Now you said you started out, you just wanted to have one professional bout, but I mean
actually it didn't came out that way, to believe it or not. I was actually done when I fought in Winter Haven, my last amateur fight in 2 years ago. I was okay with. I was never going to box again. I mean, I had 104 amateur fights, 85 wins, 19 losses. I was okay with it. But what happened was we had a fighter that did not show up because he didn't believe in a COVID test. I had a B-side fighter that we flew in that was ready to fight, and he didn't understand the process, how things worked. He was quite upset. So, long story short, I wasn't going to give nobody free money, so I ended up fighting him. Didn't have no boxing trunks, no boxing shoes. I told him, if you beat me, I'll pay you. And that's how I started, believe it or not. But it was more out of frustration, believe it. It wasn't because of him himself. It was more of frustration leading up to it, because at that time I had a couple boxers that was on our team that I ended up getting them multi-deal contracts with big-time promoters. And this is somebody's dream to get these kind of offers, and they wouldn't sign it. And so, nobody knows how hard it is for a minority to get to the point where you're talking to a Don King or Eddie Hearns, and then for you to get these opportunities, and then you're skipping the line because some of these fighters don't got Olympic backgrounds. They don't have national championships. They're just local boxers. So, for you to take them to a different level where they can get a $1,000 contract, when they can get paid $5,000-$6,000 a month just to train and not work, for these fighters not to take those opportunities, it was frustrating. So I took it upon myself to say, you know what? Instead of me preaching it and you guys not taking the opportunity, I might as well just do it myself. If I lose, I lose. But everybody I fought has a winning record, and everybody I'm continuing to fight is going to have a way better record than me. And I want them to beat me, because if they beat me, I retire. I want to step up, because when everything's said and done, when I ask a fighter to step up, they can't say I don't know what I'm talking about. I did it.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. It's like you're serving as an example, like, hey, you're taking risks, but here's the reward when you actually take a risk and take a fight that's a tougher opponent. What do you have to say about that?
I just tell you this. I posted a thing Rose Jones said a couple of days ago on my social media page. He said, if you don't want to be the great or the best, then what are you doing? You're just wasting time.
Right.
Boxing is a sport. People forget about that. That's why boxing, in some instance, people say, "Oh, boxing is dead." MMA fighters are more popular than YouTube fighters. You know why? Because they're willing to fight each other, regardless of their talent, skill level, or win or loss record. They're just willing to put good entertainment fights for the fans. And that's what some of these younger boxers and coaches forgot. You know, nobody, what's the purpose of being 15-0, and then when you leave your city, you get knocked out on national TV? You know, there's no glory in that, right?
Now, what you're speaking on is the fact that some guys here in Florida, they're given such soft touches, as they say, that when they do get the call to go to a fight out of the area, like it's a step-up fight, they're not prepared. That's what you're speaking on right there?
Yeah, but because I give you an example, because they don't want to, they feel like you, a moment ago, you said some coaches and fighters say, oh, the fighters, promoters are trying to push them to lose too quick, right? But the problem is, if you don't have, like I said before, if some of these fighters are coming from 20 amateur fights, 50 amateur fights, you know, when you fight somebody on top rank, those guys are usually Olympic or had a 200-300 amateur fights. So
that's your pedigree for sure.
Yeah. So how are you going to train for somebody like that if you're not willing to fight somebody that's in the local level or in your same state that has the same amount of amateur careers you did, and they got the same record that you have? If you know what I'm saying, there's levels to this.
Right.
So if you're not willing to fight this guy in your hometown and be the best in your hometown, then how do you expect to beat those guys on TV? You know, it's just in this. Sometimes, you know, it's just really common sense. And you know, you argue with coaches and fighters. In reality, I just want the best for them. I don't want them to get hurt.
Do you sometimes believe in these boxers more than they believe in themselves?
I have, and I dedicated my time and a lot of money and lost both of them, time and money. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you can believe in somebody more than what they believe in themselves.
Hey, Tito, do you think a lot of these fighters enjoy just being local heroes, man, and content with just getting easy wins here, and they really thinking about the big picture?
I think that's what it is. You got to remember, Florida used to be the mecca of boxing. I mean, just think about the St. Pete area. How many world champions came out of that gym?
Yeah.
You know, and then now look at, you know, 10 years, 15 years later, who's really representing, you know, other than Keith Thurman, and he's kind of been inactive here and there because of injuries and stuff like that. We don't have 4 or 5 guys no more that's in the top level that we used to have in the state of Florida, you know. And it was a pride thing, kind of like you know, Florida State or Seminoles and you know, Miami, and everybody wants to be the best in the state of Florida, right? So boxing used to be that way, and it's hard to bring that back because everybody feels if their boxer loses, the boxing community is so mean, they're hateful. You know, an MMA guy loses, everybody's cheering and laughing and they want them to go back. Boxer loses, they say, oh, he's trash. The coach set him up, the promoter set him up, the fighter was no good. Everybody has excuses. It's just instead of just acknowledging, hey, the kid stepped up, he lost, get back in there. You know,
I mean, that's what we were saying about Fundora. He got knocked out by somebody. It was a punch he didn't see, and now people are already saying, well, he's chinning.
But that's everybody. Think about it. Let's go back in history. Chad Dawson got knocked out. Everybody say he was garbage. I mean, every great fighter, Jeff Lacey, when he lost, he's no good no more. Roy Jones Jr. got knocked out by Tarver. He's done. You know, he needs to quit. Boxing is probably the most love-hate thing. It's like kind of like an addiction, or like drug. You want it so bad, there's some sense of it, but you never get nothing back out of it.
Right.
You're never gonna please everybody, and for every person that you got that cheers you, that acknowledge your accomplishments, you got 10 or 15 that's hating.
Right.
And
well, we know a thing or two about being hated for no reason. I mean, like rejoicing in the podcast, not coming on frequently. You know, like little stuff like that when I'm sick. So we know a little bit about that. But I want to get back to this one particular story that people keep bringing up to me. This whole fighting your boxer, your actual signed boxer, Jose Medina. Tell us, I want some like real tidbits on how that actually transpired and who the hell was behind this situation to try to get him out of his contract.
Me and Medina have a personal relationship. You know, I look up to the kid. He's like a little brother. Before I was a promoter, I was actually his sponsor. And I saw so much potential in the kid. To this day, I think that kid is just like so many other boxers. When they're focused, I don't see nobody beating that kid. Honestly, the kid is really talented. But, you know, sometimes these boxers, they get a lot of things. They get attacked in different ways. And people in boxing get in their ears and, you know, and they pull them from different directions. Yeah, you know, I can do this for you. You know, T&K is small. I can do this for you. And about three years ago, I had him a big fight. And he was going to fight Dante Waters' brother on the Ortiz and Wilder 2 rematch in Las Vegas.
Mm.
And he actually broke his hand the week of the fight, you know? Yeah. So it was a freak accident. You know, we took care of it. He rehabbed. But within that time, you know, he was done with boxing. You know, he didn't want to box no more. So I released him from his contract. And then 2 days later, he signed with a local promoter. Yeah, you know, fuck, I say that ain't Signature Punch Boxing, Jared. And you know, they took somebody that I personally had a respect for and looked up to the kid. Long story short, that promoter didn't do nothing with him. He spent about 2 years of his life not boxing.
Wow. Not once?
Huh?
Not once? Out of
Not
2
once.
years?
He didn't fight not one time under Signature Punch Boxing. So I signed him back again after multiple efforts. And then we had him training and he was going to fight. And just the fights wouldn't go through. He was accepting the fights. It just, the opponents wasn't taking him. Out of frustration, somebody got in his head. He wanted to quit. He was done with boxing. I told him, listen, I'm not going to release you from your contract. I already did the dance with you once before. And I got too much time and money invested. So if you want out, you're going to have to whip my ass for it. And,
wait a minute. Okay, so you thought like you were serious.
I was serious. And because people got to understand this. It was never about Medina. It was about the frustration of me dealing with multiple fighters that I got to a certain level, and they wouldn't pull the trigger and go to that next level. Or me getting a fighter that nobody else wanted, and me get them 2-3 wins, and then another manager or promoter steals them from me.
Wow. So
it was just a frustration. It was never about Medina. It was about frustration of this is happening to me again. So I was like, you know what? I'm just tired of it, because I think what happened was people forgot who I was. I was a boxer first. Mm-hmm. I'm not no businessman. I'm not no punk.
Okay.
You know, and you know, honestly, I was scheduled to fight somebody else. I thought he wasn't going to show up, and he showed up. We fought.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. You were scheduled to fight somebody else, and you're saying that Medina showed up.
Yeah, Medina showed up.
How did he show up? I mean, you didn't pay for his ticket. He just paid for
that's one day you're gonna have to ask Medina. But but somebody
did you pay for the flights or not?
No. But I'll tell you this one, somebody wanted my ass whip and it didn't work out that night.
Okay.
So whoever paid for it lost their money. But no, I mean, me and Medina fought. To be honest with you, I fought a shell of a Medina. Medina should have whipped my ass. He should have easily beat me. That was not Medina that I fought that night. I just got lucky.
Okay.
And but long story short, we made up. We talked for hours, and he decided that he did not want to leave the company. I told him, listen, you're gonna have to prove yourself. You're gonna have to come to work. You're gonna have to show me that this is not gonna happen to me again. And the kid dedicated himself. The kid is back training. I mean, he's won his last fight. He looked amazing. I just think like he is a frustration. It was never about me and him as a personal thing. It's more the frustration of him knows he has talent. He wants to fight, but other fighters don't want to fight him.
Right.
I mean, just to give you an example, Medina accepted to fight Tommy Morrison's son, Jr. We accepted the fight. They turned around and turned it down 2 weeks before the fight. They picked another opponent. The guy, Tommy Morrison, ended up losing. Right? We actually accepted the Don King offer to fight on Don King's show. Their opponent denied it. So Medina is game. He's a game fighter. Actually, he was gonna be accepted to fight Ryan Ricky's heavyweight. His name is Medina also. And we agreed to everything, and that fight did never happen on Pro Box. So Medina's ready to fight. Looking back at it, to be honest with you, it was probably the worst decision I ever did because he caught me in a low time. I should have never fought him. We should have worked things out as business people. I didn't gain nothing from fighting him. He didn't gain nothing from fighting me. But what I did get from me and him is our relationship got closer now. It's weird to describe it, but it seems like when you fight somebody or you spar them, you have another level of respect.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like yeah, there's some respect there.
And so the brotherhood that I have with him now is going to be there forever because we physically went in there to hurt each other. And he could have knocked me out. And I got lucky. I got the win. It is what it is. And we ran it 10 times. I think he realistically, a game Medina beat me 8 out of 10.
Well, now you did say that you don't think that Medina gained anything, but I thought his rankings went up some from fighting you.
No, his record went up dramatically, and then he came off a win. So I mean, he went from being inactive for 2 years to fighting 2 times already in 4 months, and he's training now really hard. A rare process to get him a big fight, and so the sky's the limit for Medina.
Well, we can't wait to see him. Hopefully, we can see him on this Florida Boxing Hall of Fame card.
Well, he's going to be on the Hall of Fame show, and my goal is, to be honest with you, is to I know how much talent the kid's got. I've been in the sport over 30 years, and he just needs the right team around him. So my goal is I will be satisfied when I see him win a belt. When he was a championship belt, that's when I know I did my job as a promoter. Because they're not gonna make that wrong of me fighting him. I can make that right.
Wow. I mean, totally. I understand what you're saying. We've seen Medina as far back as a Fire Fist card at the Coliseum. That had to be like 2018, maybe 2017. And he had talent then. And then when we saw him in the war over in Tampa, against his opponent was known to be a dirty boxer. I mean, but they gave it to each other hard that night, and it ended up being a draw.
You remember the first time we seen Medina when he knocked the guy out, and they said it was a late punch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a disqualification.
Oh no, Fire.
Yeah, so we've been seeing that he does have that type of talent. He does have that type of skill. He just needs somebody that believes in him like you do. Yes, and that's willing to put in hours with him.
No, the kid.
You're trying to
Like I
work
said, he's going to be a champion, and don't. It won't surprise me if he wins some kind of belt or fights somebody big time on TV this year for some kind of belt, because he has what a lot of other these fighters don't got. He has the courage to fight.
Right.
Oh
You
yeah.
see, and so when you have the courage to fight, this is what I tell all the fighters before I ever sign them, or I tell amateur kids before they turn pro. I say the day you leave your mentality of the amateurs behind and become a business guy, you're never going to succeed in boxing. You have, because in the amateurs, you train all week, all month. You show up to an event, you weigh in. You don't know who you're fighting. You don't know if he's tall, short, strong, 100 fights, 20 fights. But you got the mentality. You don't care who it is. You just want to fight. You showed up. Your family's there. You just want to fight.
Absolutely.
Hey,
and so when you lose that,
I was wondering, do you got any collaborations with Don King coming up?
Yeah, so we are working on a show that he's supposed to be announcing. Obviously, I can't give you the scoop on that. That's Don will be doing that. But he is coming back to Florida real soon, and TK will be there, and hopefully I can have one of my fighters there. I'm hoping to either get Jose Medina on the show or possibly Harry Cruz. So we'll see what happens, and but we are working with Don.
Will it be another Miami card, you think, Tito, back in Miami?
I can't tell you what Don does, man.
Tell me.
He can't tell us the scoop.
I can't tell you what Don.
Not live.
Don does what he does.
Not live, but we'll be calling you afterwards. Hey, we're great. Listen, we are the best at keeping secrets. We say a lot of stuff, but we also we're the keepers of a lot of secrets, aren't we, Tito?
Yeah, you guys are complete professionals with what you guys do. That's for sure.
Hey, Tito, what surprises we can expect at the Hall of Fame? I know you got some surprises.
Yeah, this year we reached out to multiple promoters, and we reached out to multiple Hall of Famers to actually put some of their fighters on the show. It's a Hall of Fame show, so I can have everybody more involved. So we did confirmation on some people, but the most notable name at the moment is Christy Martin will have one of her fighters on the show.
All right.
We are working with Don King to have one of his fighters on the show.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So we're trying to get everybody involved. I know the name of it says TNK, but in reality, this is the Hall of Fame show. So we want everybody to be involved. It's just not us.
Exactly.
Are you excited about the new venue?
No, we're quite excited about it. It's bigger. It's one floor, so that helps me because I don't have to install everything on the second floor. But logistically, it's a beautiful location. I think the fans, the fighters, yourselves, you guys are gonna love it.
Okay.
Well, we got Danny. He said he got a whole goon squad waiting, just ready for his shot.
Oh, that's another person. That's another one. We're working on actually Danny Santiago bringing one of his fighters from Colombia to being on the show.
Oh, that would be nice.
So we're trying to get multiple Hall of Famers to be involved with this.
Danny might bring Castro.
If he bring Castro, because everybody was talking about his fight he had on the Don King show in Miami.
That was the fight of the night, by far. And I'll be honest with you. I thought he won 2 rounds. If it would have been a draw, it would have been the fair decision. Considering that Castro had the WBC feather box title and the other gentleman had the WBA title, I thought it would have been 2 champions. I know one had more power, but Castro was the more active and throwing more. And obviously, if you look at the fight, he took way more damage. I mean, Castro gave a lot more damage the way he took.
Oh, okay. So, Josh, what's up?
Josh
says Steve Kenton fighter. Will he be on the show?
So Steve Cannon's fighter is going to be on the show too. Like I said, it's multiple Hall of Famers, and multiple gyms that we reached out to. That we're going to have a lot of new fighters, a couple debuts. But that's what TNK has always brung. You know, I mean, we was privileged enough to do that with multiple fighters you guys saw in our shows. That once they are in our shows, they plateau to a different level. Most notably, I'll say Mike Mills from New York.
Oh, he's talking about Mills. What's his first name? Bryce. Yes, Bryce
Mills. So we had him, and then he debuted with us, and then he got to a certain point. We was fortunate enough to debut a lot of fighters, and a lot of them are, on the top level.
We gotta have Bryce back because New York trying to steal our man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
New York Hall of Fame. No, they was not doing the International Hall of Fame. No, they wasn't doing no boxing night.
No, it was Steve Cannon and Bob Alexander's idea to start doing this project 5 years ago, and then now we're starting to notice a couple other Hall of Fame companies are starting to add boxing to their events.
Yes, and took the same boxer. They took the same boxer, which is Bryce Mills. So that goes to show, like they had to be looking. They had to be. No lie.
The kid is special.
We gotta have Bryce back because I do love him now. He does have a great style.
But we had a lot of other amazing fighters come through our stable in the local area that, we was privileged enough to have, like Sonny Duberson multiple times on our show.
Yeah.
We had some amazing fighters from Charles Whitaker to Reynard Hill to like I said, we had Armando, we had Ivan Franco. We had
I like some Ivan.
What about Coach Rodriguez?
Coach Rodriguez, he's the guy that does it all, right?
Man,
so we had him on the show. Hey, listen, I can go for hours of the people. I can go for hours of the people that we get opportunities to that other promoters would have never touched with a 10-foot stick.
Oh, don't forget the ladies. I don't know how I'm forgetting all of the ladies.
Oh, yeah. So
Bill Hallback to Lady Ram to Carice Brown to KO Kaylee Reese. That was for a WBC title.
WBA.
Yeah, the WBC title. Yeah, and then we also had the general. She's the IBO champion, the world champion now. Alyssa Parker. Then we also had, if you remember correctly, in Sundome, we had the world multi-champion Alicia. So we had her on our show. So we had multiple people come and then literally go on our shows and then be on national TV right after.
Absolutely. Like they're all worthy. Like you had some great competitive fights for the women, and we definitely got to give you a shout out for that because I know some of these people were telling you don't do it, don't have these women on here, definitely don't make them no main event.
Oh man, yeah, I love proving them wrong. I'll tell you this much right now: every female fighter that I had as a main event, I sold the guys. So, and I think other promoters started noticing that and they started copying it. So, in the local level, so I'm happy for that. Me having 6 aunties, 3 sisters, so I grew up with women. So now seeing them get the appreciation they deserve is nice to see that.
Hey Tito, don't Chrissy ain't Evander Holyfield's son one of her fighters?
Say what?
That's a good question. No, I think he's signed with Sugarbird.
Sugarbird?
Yeah, I think he's.
As a management team?
I think he's a trainer / manager or promoter. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but another fighter that we had multiple times on our show where he was inactive for a while and we kind of brought him back and now he's in a whole nother level was Antonio Tarver Jr. A lot of people forget.
Yes, I was gonna say him too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we was privileged enough to work with a lot of people, and I'm grateful for them giving us the opportunity and the platform to showcase their talents.
Talk to me about Tommy Turner. Our
Yeah.
samurai. He's got the
So
bare knuckle situation going on
yeah,
now.
so he's just one of many fighters that we had that used our platform to get bigger and better opportunities. And I'm always a true believer. If you're gonna leave our company or get other opportunities, please do better than what we did. Because if you do worse and going backwards, then basically you wasted your time with us. I want people to
Sure.
do. I want people to use our platform as a springboard to their dreams, to bigger and better opportunities.
Hey
You
Tito,
know,
we want to give a shout out to Kalia because behind every strong man there's a strong woman
oh,
to
let me tell you
make
something.
things happen.
Yes, we
I'll be
keep
honest
it
with you.
extra
I
heavyweight,
listen.
baby.
I'll be honest with you. It should have been K and T, but it didn't sound right because she's the one in charge. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was kind of bitter. I was kind of bittersweet me getting this award,
Yeah,
this induction, because the name of the company is T and K. It's me and my wife, right?
right, right.
And obviously sometimes the guys get the glory, and sometimes the women and the wives don't get nothing in the background, and it's uncalled for. It's injustice. To be honest with you, I almost didn't want to accept it,
Mm.
because it wasn't right. Because I didn't do all this by myself. You know,
Well,
it was a
I
partnership.
understand that, but both of y'all are
Yeah,
getting the
yeah,
award. I
yeah, no,
mean,
no. Oh, no, no, I'm gonna. If it says my name on it, I'm gonna engrave her name underneath it.
Yeah, okay.
but
oh,
but
that's so
That's
sweet.
cool.
but now she deserves it just more than me, and probably more so because um I dedicated a lot of time away from my wife and my kids
Yes,
to
the
believe in these,
sacrifice.
and to believe in these other kids, and that's what the people don't understand is when you're a coach, you're dealing with one or two fighters. When you're a
Mm.
fighter, you're dealing for yourself. But when you're a promoter and you have 12 bouts, 14 bouts, I'm dealing with 22 to 24 people, fighters, A side and B side. Then I'm dealing with their coaches. Now I'm dealing with 30 to 40 people and trying to keep everybody happy. So just imagine that.
Yeah, that's a
You
lot.
know,
Plus,
and
it also helps
nobody understands that part of it. It's quite stressful. So when a like I always told myself, I never want to be the number one promoter. I don't believe in that. I believe it should be multiple promoters. I'm so glad right now in the Tampa Bay area we have multiple promoters coming here. We got Pro Box, we got Orlando with their Latin thing they're doing down there. Um, and then now with these local shows getting done here with Philolesi, with Harvard Senior doing his shows, more is better. And the reason why I believe in that is because there's too many fighters that's not getting the spotlight. And now one promoter can put all those fighters on one show. You know, so
yeah,
for
and
me,
that
I
leads to
work
some long nights too, when they used to try to put so many of them on. I
exactly.
mean,
So to me, I support boxing. I support all the promoters. To this day, I'm probably one of the few promoters that's ever sponsored every major promoter that's in the Hillsborough County area. And I
right.
support all of them for a reason. It's not because I want to be better than them or underneath them. It's because I love boxing. And I know if I can't put somebody on my show, they have an opportunity to fight on somebody else's show. And then I also know if I don't have a show, I can put my fighters on their show. Because at
Right.
the end of the day, uh, my job is to make sure these fighters get opportunities to fight. Period. It doesn't have to be on a TK show.
And just to get back on Kalia for 1 second, she also is mentoring youth as well with her programs with the state. So it's kind of like federal government. I forget which one she is.
Yes. So
So
she's always get back, and she continues to do
mhm.
that in her field, and she has the passion for it. More so than me. And I'll be honest with you, God knows how many times I wanted to quit. But she loves it. You know, she sees something special and she has the enjoyment in life of seeing doing for others and giving back.
Right.
She has a huge heart and
Mm.
she taught me definitely how to be a better person. I'm still working on myself, but she's definitely my backbone.
Oh, here she is now. Let's read Kalia's comment first. She says, very proud of Tito and
Mm.
all his accomplishments always. Thanks, BPH, for
Right.
always highlighting the real. Ah, I like
That's
it.
awesome.
We're about
Thank
to
you.
hire her.
We appreciate it.
I mean, because she does a lot of work behind the scenes.
Definitely.
Well, just imagine when we started, and so it is what it is. We're glad we get to. I did my part, regardless of what people think about me, people that never met me or don't know. I tell you, I've done every one of my shows with 0 sponsorships. The highest sponsor I ever got was Bud Light for $1,000 one time. I literally work 16, 18-hour days in my shop to pay for this boxing journey, my hobby. So nothing was never given to me. And so when I invest my time and money into these kids, it's because I believe in them. Because I used to be that kid. I'm 43 years old now. And I'm living my dream now at 43 when I should have done it at my 22. Because back then people didn't believe it.
We're going to get to that in a minute. Let's go ahead and read these comments right quick.
Okay. Now, Danny Santiago, Danny said, look, dude, you guys deserve everything. Facts. Stop it. You and your wife are a team.
Just
Most
like
definitely.
Danny and his wife Sandra, they're a team as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Danny Santiago. Oh, you got it?
That's another one.
Oh, he says iron sharpens iron. Competition is good and keeps you hungry, whether it's boxing, promoting, and so on.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
100% on that one. Now, getting back to what you were saying on fulfilling your dreams. So
what I'm trying to say is I'm so passionate about helping these kids because I didn't have that opportunity. Now I'm fortunate enough to give this opportunity to kids that deserve it.
Right.
And so I feel it's my duty. Everybody in life has a goal or a calling. I feel like my calling is learning from the opportunities that I didn't have when I was younger, and to give those opportunities to these kids that truly say they want to box. Right. But I tell these people, my belief is this: you should not do this for winning or losing, to be world champion or not, because you're gonna set yourself for failure. If you're gonna box, just do it because that's something you love. You're gonna put 100% in it, and then whatever the outcome is, you did it. You're one of 1.1% of somebody that actually stepped in that rope and did something. There's 99% of people that talk trash, they have opinions, that would never stood up through those ropes.
There you go. I mean, yes, we have to all admit we have limitations in life, but I feel like if I'm giving it my all and I'm at least trying, I feel like nobody should have anything negative to say. I'm at least trying. So many are not even doing that. But those are the main people that have so much to say. The main people that don't try to do anything outside of their normal box.
That's my biggest thing. I've been preaching this for years, and I'm hoping it's going to catch on. I believe it should be Florida versus everybody else. Period. I'm Team Florida. I don't care if you're a promoter, fighter, coach from Miami, Orlando, Daytona, Pensacola. We all should support each other. We have some of the best boxers, best coaches in the state of Florida. It shows every year when we go to the national tournaments for the Team Florida. Why we're fighting each other, or everybody wants to be the best and nobody wants to work with each other, it boggles my mind. Because if we all teamed up and work together and have amazing sparring, amazing coaches, people travel from city to city, town to town. Just imagine how many world champions the state of Florida can have.
Right. That's what we lacking, man. We got to support each other.
That's the one thing that Florida is lacking.
Yeah.
In general,
people got to support each other.
Yes,
man.
Like we can get support ourselves. For example, in Vegas, in New York, and North Carolina, overseas in the UK. I mean, we can get fans and have people supporting us all over the country and parts of the world, and we can't get people to support us here. They're so busy worrying about how did we get to do that? How did we do this? Oh, let me copy you. Instead of helping you or adding you to our overall car or whatever project you're doing, you want to go and reinvent the entire thing that we worked many years to achieve. Like I don't get it. It's just like it's so weird to me. It really is. We
Yeah, but
want these shows from
I'm
the
all
diamond.
about Team Florida. I still had that amateurs background mentality. Is what can we do for all the coaches, all the fighters to get those opportunities? You know what I'm saying? And because realistically, we should have multiple world champions. Florida should be the mecca of boxing. It should be.
With the
I
number
mean,
of shows, yes,
yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we
yeah,
having more shows than any other state at the moment.
yeah.
I
You're
mean,
right.
people
So,
don't know that, but we really are having, like, the Boston Commission has had to expand 3 times their employees.
so I give you an example. When that started happening, I, as a business owner, I had to decide: am I going to quit my company because there's not enough dates for me to commit these contracts that I promised these fighters? Because the commission was just they wasn't giving dates, and a lot of people don't know the logistics of it. So I will explain it to you really quick. So the date falls, let's say July 17th. Now you have to find a venue that allows you to have that date. So let's say you find a venue, but they don't have that date. Now the commission tells you, well, we don't have that date either. So you're going back and forth trying to juggle two situations you don't have nothing to do with, and trying to line all the stars together to make a show happen. Um, so when this happened and we started going from 4 shows a year to 3 shows a year to 2 shows a year to now our calendar starts from June, September, December, 3 shows on the second half of the year. As a promoter, I had to decide what am I going to do. So I was privileged enough to partner up with TriStar Boxing, with Right Cook Promotions from Tennessee and Mississippi, to give my fighters different options to still move.
And this was during
And
COVID. You
this
know,
is during
it's just
COVID,
what you're saying.
and this continues to happen. And it's a triangle. We from Tennessee to Georgia to Mississippi to Florida, we all work as a team. When they started running into situations with their dates in their cities, we opt out to start doing shows out the country. It was either do that or sit back and do nothing.
Mm.
So now we still give our opportunities to a fighter. So when a fighter tells me, I want to fight 2, 3 times a year, well, last year we did 28 shows. Not one person, but a team. We did 28 shows in 12 months period. We're already on track by the time June hit to hit 15 shows. That's 15 different opportunities any fighter could have had to fight on those shows.
If they wanted to fight.
If they want to fight, but I'm saying the opportunity is there.
Yes, I understand.
And,
I'm
and,
just
um,
saying, you got to add that
and,
part
and
in.
so so we provided that based off of, not because that's what our goal was, because we had to adapt to the new way boxing is in the state of Florida.
Right. Now let's talk about your titles. Because
Okay.
I need you to go through what titles you have at heavyweight. We're talking about
Oh my God.
a IBO? Or no, what is it
Yeah.
IBO?
No. So it's
A UBO.
yeah. So it's UBO. So how you want me to go? Exactly how you want me to break them down? From like which
Whichever
one
is
I won?
easier.
Okay. So this is what I started, right? So I base it off of this. If I'm going to fight for a title, number one, it has to be a legitimate title. That means it has to be on BoxRec, because if it ain't on BoxRec, it ain't real. It's just a trophy. And then I'm gonna get a lot of negative feedback for this.
Oh yeah.
Um, but it's in the end of the day, if you're gonna be a fighter and you're gonna pay a sanctioning body $1,500 for a belt, pay the commission for the referees and the judges, and then for you to win that belt and one day you retire and you tell your kids you won that belt and they can't even Google it, then did you really win it?
Mm.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, so I preach this and I've done it. Every belt that fought for is a legitimate belt that's on BoxRec. I had to fight a legitimate opponent.
Devil's advocate, because this is what I'm hearing. Oh, because you went to Colombia and had the, I mean, can you tell these people how Colombia is now? This is not Colombia from the 1980s. Like,
oh no. Listen, I encourage anybody. I encourage anybody to travel outside of the United States. Period. I want people to travel. Go anywhere. You can go to South America, North America, Europe, anywhere. Perfect example. Mexico. Because believe it or not, these places, their cultures, they will teach you something. They will humble you. Some of these people have a way better life than us Americans, and they have way less. You know, so and these places have everything we have, and some places have more. So it's not about the physical location. I encourage people to travel because just like people might stay stuck in only their little town in Tampa for 20 years, but won't travel 3 hours to go to Miami. You know, just travel and then make your judgment. But a lot of people assume stuff. A lot of people hear negative things. So you can't preach to those people because they already set their minds.
I understand that, and I'm glad you're bringing up the travel and the culture and the lifestyle that they have is oftentimes better than ours. But I was speaking on how these boxing commissions, they're not easy like they were in like the 1980s when you're.
No. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. Anytime an American goes to any country, they don't like that because they feel like you're trying to take over. You got to remember, you're going to somebody else's territory. Mm-hmm. And people think, well, you know, you're just going to go to a different country. Like people say, oh, like when I used to send Taz to Mexico and Lady Ram used to go down there with her fighters. And they thought, oh, this is just easy fights. No, they're not. There's a lot of American fighters that lose. There's a lot of American fighters that lose. There's a lot of American fighters that lose everywhere they go because they got to remember, those people are hungry. They're trying to prove themselves. So they want an American to come there to beat them up because they might not have the visa to go to America to prove themselves. So that's their only opportunity. So you're going to get somebody that's going to test you. They're going to push you. They're working just as hard or harder because they have
those opponents, they fight a lot more often too. Because they are getting more competition there.
They are. So to me, you don't become a true fighter until you start fighting out of your element. When you start fighting people that you're not accustomed to or situations in cities and towns, if you're always fighting in your local area, you're never going to expand. How can you be world champion if you're only in Tampa? You have to explore. You have to travel. If it doesn't matter if it's out the country or in the States.
Tell us about your WBC title, not belt, title that you have as a heavyweight. It's like a what do they call them? Secondary title?
It's a secondary title. It ranks you in the top 40. And once you're in the top 40, anybody that's in the top 40 is eligible to fight for the world title.
Okay.
So, to even fight for the belt, you either have to fight a former champion or a contender for the belt. So you can't just pick and choose your opponent.
It won't be a vacant title, is what you're saying. It's going to be.
No, it can be a vacant title, but the problem is if you choose to fight for it, you can't pick your opponent. You have to pick either somebody they recommend, the WBC, that's in their standards.
Okay.
So these people that think you can just magically buy a belt, it doesn't work that way. This is real life.
Well, I wasn't trying to say that, but I was trying to get people that would say that to understand.
The people that will say that never had the opportunity to do what I'm doing or have done it with their own fighters. So they're just talking out of ignorance. The people that have been fortunate enough to take their fighters or themselves to this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, I had to fight somebody that had a draw for the belt, they had a DQ for the belt, for me to fight for the belt. I was favored to lose that fight, and I won the fight. Just to give you an example, other than my first 4 fights, every fight afterwards, I was actually favored to lose on BoxRec. So, like I give
you upset the apple carts.
Well, think about it. I'm 42 years old, beating guys into their 20s and their 30s. Guys with double my record. I mean, just my last fight, I fought the IBF former world champion. I mean, realistically, I'm not saying I'm the best or nothing. I should be losing all these fights. But I'm just gonna tell you what it is. What it is I believe in myself, and I got an old school way of training. And a lot of these young boxers would never understand that.
I did want to talk about one of your new fighters before we let you go. We're going to wrap up here.
Okay.
I mean, we're totally proud of you and all your accomplishments with fighting and having you be able to fulfill one of your lifelong dreams of being a professional boxer. That's one thing we want to get across. And I think a lot of like your success is coming from some of that sparring you got with Chad Dawson back in the day.
Yeah, Chad, Paul Williams. I got trained with Peter Cordona. I got trained with a lot of amazing fighters and good coaches that always give me advice.
Right.
But when you're training with fighters they're world champion fighters that got 12-round fights, you see something in them. You're not dealing with guys that's doing 4 rounds, 6 rounds. These are guys at the top level. They made it, and they're still hungry enough to defend their belts. So when you sit back and just watch it, you learn a lot. And so that's what I want to get back to this local level. But I truly believe in the area that I live in the Tampa Bay, Hillsborough area. A lot of these coaches / fighters, it's better for me to show them that I did it. I think they will respect it more than me just telling them what to do.
Yeah, like it's one thing to say, hey, all you got to do is fight this fight and then that fight, and you're ranking to do this and this, and now you're in contention. But now that you've shown them how short of a time that you can actually get to some of those goals, it kind of make them look like, well, wait just a damn minute here now. I mean, I should have been paying attention when I had the opportunity.
Listen, next week I got to defend my WBC title with a mandatory. I didn't get to pick this guy. This guy has 21 wins, 20 knockouts, 2 losses, only been stopped once. I'm only on my 11th fight. I could have easily, if I was fake fraud or scared or bought ticket, I could have easily just denied the fight, strip me from the title. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a true believer. I made a promise to my wife. I'm going to continue to fight until I lose or until I get inducted. Until then, I want somebody to beat me up.
Don't say that. But we don't want to see that.
I'm just saying, listen. When you got 104 amateur fights and you sparred as many rounds I sparred with world champions, I have enough confidence that I know how to defend myself. Put it that way.
That's right. Make it clear, because I don't want Kalia to come in and shut all this stuff down. You gotta make sure you talking right.
Hey Tito, just before you go, I want to get a quick prediction. Tank and Ryan Garcia, who you got?
I got Tank by knockout. If it goes to the decision, Ryan Garcia will win by points.
Okay.
Wow.
I got late stoppage, maybe 8. Maybe late stoppage. I would say 7th or 8th round.
Spence Crawford.
Crawford's too small. Spinks too big. I see Spinks walking him down. I see Crawford scoring him in the beginning, and I see Spinks walking him down and stopping him in the end.
Okay. I mean, that's different than some of the different predictions we've been hearing.
Well, just think about it. How else would he win? He's not going to outbox him. So you're going to have to bully him down, take his punches, get him tired, and then stop him late. He's not going to win by decision. So it's just logistics. It's like if he has the right team around him, styles makes fights, and you know how to beat that style.
Right.
I mean, let me ask you guys, how else would he win? He's not going to outbox him. Crawford's too smart. He fights left-handed, right-handed. He can go either way. He goes in and out, so he's hard to hit. He's not going to stay in the pocket. So, but I think Spinks can pull it off by stoppage, not by decision.
I mean, Bud's been stopped before. Not stopped. He's been dropped before. I don't know how that came out, but he's been dropped before. So, I mean, it can happen for sure.
The problem is this is what people don't think about. I want you guys to think about this, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. Look who his sparring partners are, the Charlo brothers. So all three of them had the WBC title in 3 different weight classes. This is the people he trains with every day. Guys that weigh 20 pounds bigger than him. He trains with these guys. Right. Walk around weight. They're going to be 20 pounds bigger. So he trains with these guys. Yeah, he trains with these guys every day. So when you got that kind of high-end sparring and they're all world champions, I just don't see Crawford stopping him because he's just physically too big and he's used to getting hit by bigger guys. Crawford is not as strong. I think he can win by points, but he's not going to knock Spence out. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, Spence does seem to be the stronger of the two.
What do you guys got for the fight?
I'm going with Bud. I'm sticking with my Bud. It's just he's so adaptable. It's like if you try, like he was saying, like if you do this, then he's gonna switch up. He's gonna turn orthodox on you, or if he's orthodox, he's gonna switch and turn southpaw. If you try to put pressure on him, then he's got something waiting for you that you wasn't expecting, because he sets great traps. So but
he wasn't really. I just feel like because of the promoter he used to have and how good they took care of him, he never really got tested with the bigger fights he could have had.
I mean, but the same could be said about Spence.
But Spence fought a lot more people. He fought a lot more people in the top. He fought a lot more people in the top 25 than Crawford did.
You know what I noticed, Tito? It seemed like Crawford, man, in between fights, it seemed like Crawford always stays shape, man. He's always with them younger guys like Sakura, always in shape boxing. It seemed like Spence to me, like he takes these vacations and put on a lot of weight, man, and
he chilling.
You know what I'm saying? It seems like Crawford's always like in ready shape and don't have to fight
he's in ready shape because he's comfortable in that weight.
Right.
And so that's good. Mayweather was famous for doing that. Mayweather always worked around his walking weight. The problem is, I truly believe this, and it happened to Canelo when he stepped up. If you keep stepping up, you're eventually gonna fight a guy that's too big that can take all your punches.
Yeah. And so he stopped doing catch weights. So that also is a factor. Yeah,
and so I look at that part of the boxing part of it. It's like, is the guy that's the bigger guy that's getting way more better sparring with bigger sparring guys, is the smaller guy going to stop him? And I don't see it. Now, can the smaller guy outpoint him? Crawford win by points? I can see that. But I just think Spinks is just too big. He's not going to respect Crawford's punches in the second half of the fight. I think he's just going to walk him down and try to knock him out.
Yeah, he's definitely, like you said, he definitely got to try.
He's going to try.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap up tonight. We're going to send out love and let you know that Bob Alexander was trying to be with us tonight, but he decided that he would just take a chill night. He's going to pick it up with us on the next Hall of Fame show, but he sends his love, and we want to send our love and prayers to him as well.
Oh, thank you so much. I got to meet with him and go out to dinner with him and check up on him. And thank you so much, guys, for the opportunity. Next time, give me some harder questions. And we're gonna do a tell-all book after all this is said and done. But thank you guys for everything. Appreciate you guys' support and with everything you guys do for the local boxing community with the small fighters and the big fighters. You guys represent everybody, and we appreciate you guys. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Tito.
Thank you, Tito. And you can make sure you go ahead and purchase these tickets at tkboxingpromotions.com. And that is Friday Night Fights, Florida Boxing Hall of Fame weekend, That's going to be June 30th, the fight night. And
Hey, listen,
then,
before you guys take off,
yeah.
try to get Danny Santiago versus Rose Jones Jr. as an exhibition. You guys can pull that
I
off.
would love that. I would love that.
You heard that, Danny?
Danny, no. I mean, 2 fights that didn't happen in their professional careers. I mean, it's in order. Don't you
What
think
about
so?
David Tua just say he wouldn't mind going against Mike Tyson?
Oh, David Tua is in amazing shape since he left the Florida Hall of Fame. Like, it was something about getting his induction ring that made him, like, fired him up. And he's been.
Who do you guys think who will win that fight?
Who would you say?
Tyson versus
Tyson versus
Tua.
Man, the way Tua legs looking now, man. Whew.
Man.
Oh man, I don't know if Mike Tyson want to deal with that.
I wanted to see that fight, Tito. I don't know, man. What Mike you talking about?
Tyson.
I'm saying what era, Mike?
Oh,
I'm talking about both of their ages right now.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you saw Tyson did really good against. He didn't even get tired against Roy Jones Jr. Tyson did really good.
He was in excellent shape when he fought him.
That'd be interesting, man. I know David been working out and training. Still got that power, but I don't know.
We're hoping
man.
that we still get him for one.
Dude, I would love to spar him.
Yeah,
just for the experience.
Just from experience, I would have to go with David Tua.
I
say I would love to spar him though.
You want to spar David Tua?
Just the knowledge he has, man. All the stuff you can learn.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I love that. I already sized them up. Me and him talked at the Hall of Fame last year. You're the same height, same build. I think it'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, and he's talking about trying to make it to this year's Hall of Fame. So, maybe we can get him in there with a Mike Tyson.
Sometimes, Tito, he gets you out of there so quick you don't have time to learn nothing.
Oh, then I be sleeping. Hey, I'd rather go to sleep.
Sparring. He said sparring.
He got Michael Moore out of there so quick. Michael didn't learn nothing.
Nah. Any special things you guys are gonna do at the Hall of Fame? Anything that us fans have to watch out for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna definitely be chopping it up, and we're gonna be a part of the commentating team. Whether that's helping to ring announce, helping Bob with his duties as the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame official announcer extraordinaire.
So everybody wants to know on my end, what color shoes are you gonna wear, Emilio?
Oh man, man, it might be gold or just some diamond looking shoes, Tito. One or the other. That's my trademark gold.
Listen, between you and Nate Campbell, you guys got the best shoes in town.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's him and the guy that runs the Bare Knuckles Hall of Fame.
The ring announcer.
No, not the ring announcer. The Hall of Famer that's in Belfast, New York.
Before I get off, I gotta thank, multi-world champion Nate Campbell, my coach.
All right.
He's been a part of all my fights, and next week when I go fight, God willing, we can pull it off and win. So when you have a multi-world champion giving you advice, is that motivation. It's kind of hard to disappoint somebody like that.
Right.
So
that's true.
So
you always get into it with him like I do.
Nah. He's a lot smaller than me, but he's a lot bigger. His voice goes a lot longer. Right. The last fight, he chewed my butt off. He said I get but those are way too much respect, and it went too long. And the following week when I fought, I stopped the guy in the first round, and that's what he told me. He said, "That's what happens when you listen to me, Tito." So I got to listen to Nate Campbell more often. That way I don't have to get hit as much. So thank you, Nate, if you're listening.
Well, congratulations on being a 2023 Florida Boxing Hall of Fame inductee. Yes. And that weekend, we're going to be celebrating Tito Escalera as well as Vonda from the from the Don King Promotions family, Vonda Carson, other great inductees like Roy Jones Jr. Isn't it still your uncle Escalera as well?
Yeah, he also defended his WBC title 10 times before he lost it to Guerrero.
Wow.
And that's your
Wow,
girl.
that's got to be in the record books
And we
then.
got Osio
So he-
Casio.
Osio Casio. Who else do we have?
What's the girl? Our girl.
Nigron. We got
Hey,
Ava
Ava?
Dallas.
Yeah, it's an amazing class. It's an amazing class. Everybody's well deserved of it. And the good thing about the Hall of Fame, I don't know if you guys started seeing it the last couple of years, is we're starting to get people that's been in the game that people might have not remembered or talked about. And so it's not the same regular people. We're actually reaching out through the whole state of Florida to picking the best of the best and the people that people forgot about that they deserve their flowers when they're still alive.
And I can't wait to help celebrate with them. The Hall of Fame is one of my favorite things that is recognizing boxers and giving them their accolades while they're living. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys take care. God bless. I'm actually got to go back in the paint booth, finish painting this car.
Oh yeah, man, you still at it, huh?
Tito's still at it.
And still working.
Aaron Snowell. We're gonna have to get him back on here when we get some better internet for him.
No, and of course, thank you. It's a pleasure always speaking with you guys. And this is my first official interview. So if I messed up or talked too much, I apologize. My first time. So I'm glad that you guys did it first. And nobody else better than you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Tito.
Thanks, Tito. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And that's the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame weekend. That's June 30th to July 2nd. Sorry. And that is going to be at the Hilton here in St. Petersburg, Caroline area. Get your tickets now. The Florida Boxing Hall of Fame website. They have their tickets for the rest of the weekend, which is going to be the dinner gala, the expo on Saturday,
to remember,
as well as Sunday's actual induction ceremony. And then you can go to tkboxingpromotions.com for your tickets that are already available for this June 30th fight night, Florida Boxing Hall of Fame fight night tickets. Thank you so much. And we'll continue this next week where we bring in some more of our wonderful Florida Hall of Famers, as well as Latin America with Danny Santiago every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Shout out to everybody that's been a part of this Hall of Fame year, and to Emilio for being my sidekick. Thank you so much for making your boxing historian presence available to me at all times. Thanks so much to Tito and Aaron for taking time out of their busy schedules to be on our show. Thank you so much, guys. We love you. See you soon at some boxing event.
Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the boxing playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.